actually. Right? And here's, I guess, where I have quite a different point of view on things. But I think that this is a sad chapter in many ways. But one of the reasons it's sad is because people really there was this very easy opportunity to discover non-Euclidean geometry years and years before, and it somehow had been ignored. People got sidetracked by Euclid's 5 postulates. Instead of just asking, what's the natural thing to do? What should we really be doing here? It's hard for us to imagine how important Euclid was to these people. It was like a Bible. It really was like a religious text. So if Euclid said there were 5 postulates, then there were 5 postulates. It wasn't a matter of opinion. They really took it completely literally. And unfortunately, they took it too literally instead of thinking, well, what's really going on here? If they had asked what's really going on here, they would have realized that there was a non-Euclidean geometry right in front of their nose, and it had been for millennia. Okay. There is another non-Euclidean geometry. In fact, arguably, it's the most important geometry historically. What's that? That's the geometry of a sphere. The geometry of the surface of a sphere. That is also a non-Euclidean geometry. It shares many similarities with Euclidean geometry. You can still talk about points. You can still talk about lines. You can still talk about triangles. You can even talk about distances and angles if you want. You can talk about areas. You can talk about proportions. This is in the proportion 1 to 2. And in fact, this kind of geometry had been studied for millennia. Ptolemy had studied this. All the astronomers were more interested in spherical geometry than they were in planar geometry because, as I've mentioned many times, the night sky is obviously a sphere. What goes on in the night sky is really happening in the celestial sphere, and so this is obvious that the sphere was important.